Good morning, everyone. We will begin in 5 minutes. Welcome to this guided meditation, focusing on gratitude and a wonderful life. I'm Reverend Anne Ahokangas. So let yourself sit quietly and at ease. Allow your body to be relaxed and open, your breath natural, and your heart easy. As you gently breathe, release all your thoughts of the day and bring your focus to your heart center. And imagine now that you're going to be breathing in and out through your heart. And you're going to breathe in for 5 and breathe out for 5. So just breathe in to the count of 5. And breathe out to the count of 5. Breathing in to the 5. And breathing out to the 5. And now go ahead and imagine someone you love or something you're really grateful for. It can be a peaceful place, a pet, someone that you care about, even an accomplishment. And just evoke a sincere feeling of love, appreciation, gratitude, or care as you breathe into the count of 5. You're going to breathe in with that feeling in your heart. And as you're breathing out to the count of 5 through your heart, breathing in and breathing out that sincere feeling of gratitude, appreciation for anything. Breathing in to the count of 5 and breathing out to the count of 5. In for 5, out for 5. In for 5, out for 5. Now let's begin the practice of gratitude by feeling how year after year you have cared for your own life. Now let yourself begin to acknowledge all that has supported you in your care. With gratitude, I remember the people, animals, plants, insects, creatures of the sky and sea, air and water, fire and earth, all whose joyful effort blesses my life every day. Feeling that gratitude of how all of this has supported you in caring for your life. And now with gratitude, I remember the care and labor of 1,000 generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. Allowing your consciousness to be filled with the thought of all of the care and labor of 1,000 generations of elders and ancestors. I am grateful for the blessing I have been given by Mother Earth. I offer my gratitude I have been given health and well-being. I am grateful for my family and friends. I am grateful for the community I have been given. I am grateful for the teachings and lessons that I have been given. I am grateful for the life I have been given. And just as I am grateful for my blessings, I am grateful for the blessings of others. I now shift my practice to nurturing and expanding joy as I continue to breathe gently. I bring to mind someone I care about, someone whom I can easily feel joy and gratitude for. I picture them and feel the natural joy I have for their well-being, for their happiness, for their success. With each breath, I offer them my grateful, heartfelt wishes. And I quietly say in my mind these words: May you be joyful. I feel the joy and caring. May your happiness increase. I feel the happiness. May you always be aware and connected to this great happiness. I feel the happiness. May your good fortune and the causes of your joy and happiness increase. I see the expansion and feel the joy in your life. I now open my contemplation to other loved ones and people in my life. May you be joyful. I feel the joy and caring. May your happiness increase. I feel the happiness. May you always be aware and connected to this great happiness. I feel the happiness. May your good fortune and the causes for your joy and happiness increase. I see the expansion and feel the joy in your life. I feel the joy for them growing strong, and now I return back and focus on myself. I let the feelings of joy more fully fill my body and mind. I continue repeating the intentions of joy over and over. I allow the joy to fill my awareness. I am joyful. I feel the joy and caring. I allow my happiness to increase. I feel this happiness increasing. I am always aware of and connected to this great happiness, for it lives at the core of my being. I truly feel this happiness. My good and the causes for my joy and happiness are constantly increasing. I feel fully enveloped in joy. It is my being. Joy is who I am, and I feel the support of this joy. I now begin to easily include every other person, even the difficult people, even enemies, until I extend joy to all beings, everywhere, young and old, near and far. And as I express this intention, all effort of practice drops away, and the intentions of joy blend into the natural joy of my own wise heart. I relax into this knowing for a few moments. I know this joy is here for me whenever I need it. Please join me in affirming, and so it is. And as we end this session, bring your attention back to the room, wiggling your fingers and toes, and slowly opening your eyes, feeling awake, refreshed, and better than before. I invite you to bring this state of joy with you into this day.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center here in Hamilton. Welcome those of you in the sanctuary and everyone who's watching us at home. We are, as always, appreciative of your presence. My name is Marcia Daly. I am your presider for today. And I think we're all family. There are no newcomers here with us in the sanctuary. So we move to our power for the month, which is release. And it's one of the 12 powers of man by Charles Fillmore. Let's say the affirmation together. I let go of what no longer serves me. I release anything and everything, making room for my highest and best. I release using my ability to let go. I release and I let go. Thank you. We are a tithing center, so 10% of all we receive goes back out to our community to bless and serve. And in this quarter, we're serving Unity Canada and Food for Kids. So let's begin with our Song of the Month, We Come Together, written by Eddie Watkins Jr. and sung for us by Emilio Zaris.
It's not really the song of the month. I haven't chosen. It's a good one, though. It's a good one. Song for the day. Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together, we come together, in the name of love, we come together. We come together, in the name of love. Woohoo! All right, now we're on track. Now look at the person next to you. I recognize the God in you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. And lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in friendship reunite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together, we come together, in the name of love. Oh, we come together, we come together, in the name of love. Yeah.
I love it. I put into AI, which is the computer-generated information thing on the internet, and I don't remember what I put, peace or good morning or something, and this is the image that came up. Isn't it just beautiful? And that's just computer-generated based on the words, so I've been having some fun playing with it. I'm Reverend Anna Hokangas, the spiritual director here at Unity, and it's my delight to present to you today again. And let's go into my favorite thing to do.
which is prayer. So take a moment and close your eyes and just relax. Take a deep breath and let it out. Move your attention to your heart center. And let's just take this time to recognize that at the core of who each and every one of us is the I am. I am one with this beautiful presence, and it is always with me everywhere I go. And even when I forget, it is here, right here, at the core of my being. And so today I open up to the guidance, to the wonderful new and beautiful loving opportunities that are available to me as I allow this greater source that is who I am to guide my way. I let go of all that no longer serves me, and I allow the good in and around and through. So with a grateful heart, I let go and I let it be so. Please join with me in affirming. And so it is. And why don't we sing There Is Only Love?
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, I would go inside and quiet my mind, and I'd hear Spirit say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that
me.
today's absolute word is world peace. I create peace in the world. Peace is the foundation for beauty in the world. An artist creates beauty out of a spectrum of shades and hues. The diversity of color adds to the depth of the artwork. In a similar way, biodiversity in the world contributes to the splendor of Mother Earth. I envision a world in which all people are accepted exactly as they are. I set an intention to practice and facilitate goodwill towards others. I behold the world around me and find examples of people and cultures blending and mixing in magnificent ways. The potential for peaceful interaction and coexistence are endless. Acts of kindness, honesty, and healthy communication paint pictures of harmony. As I choose non-judgment and unconditional positive regard, I create peace in the world.
This is a fun song. I get to swear in church. Just kidding. It's about the profane, right? I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too grateful to be hateful. I'm too blessed to be pissed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Not gonna let it get me down. Not gonna let it push me over. Not gonna let it run me round. 'Cause I know the truth. I'm too blessed. What's on the news? You can't make my mind up for me. Ain't gonna hear me sing the blues. 'Cause I know the truth. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too grateful to be hateful. I'm too blessed to be pissed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. Yes, but I'm wide awake. Yes, yes, I am grateful for each passing day. Yes, yes, I am grateful. I am grateful. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too grateful to be hateful. I'm too blessed to be pissed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too grateful to be hateful. I'm too blessed to be pissed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too blessed to be. I'm so stressed.
Let me introduce Pierre-Andre Beauchamp, Some of you online actually made comments about how much you enjoyed what Pierre said last week. Thank you for the feedback. So here's another treasury of thoughts.
So good morning to everyone in the sanctuary. A special good morning to those of you who are watching us from home. Today our story will be taken from the mother of tales. You know it as the Arabian Nights or the 1001 Nights. It's called The Man Who Followed His Dream. There was a man who was born rich. He was very wealthy. But in his youth, he scattered his inheritance everywhere. He even gave the money away. In no time at all, he was flat broke. At the time of our story, his house was falling apart. It was in ruins, basically. It needed a lot of work. The garden was also a mess. All the plants were dry and brittle and yellow. And also, the fountain at the center of the garden, at the heart of the garden, didn't even work. It was all clogged up. One night he had a dream. In his dream, he heard a voice say, "Go to the big city." Well, when he woke up the next morning, he was furious. He says, "I live here because I like it here. I live in a small town. This is sacred. This is my sacred space. I'm not going over there. It's an unholy place. I'm definitely not going." Well, then on the second night, he had the same dream again. Again, the voice said, "Go to the big city." When he woke up and he said, "No, it's an ungodly place. There's crime there. There's murders. All kinds of things are going on. I definitely don't want to go there. Too many people, dirty, filthy. I am not going there." Well, on the third night, he heard the same thing again. The voice said again, "Go to the big city. You will find fame and fortune there. Go." But when he saw he couldn't win the argument, he put on his traveling cloak, grabbed his staff, put some food in his satchel, and off he went. And he walked and walked and walked for like 3 days. When he finally got there, it was sunset. The sun was setting. He had nowhere to go. He thought, in this unholy place, where could I find somewhere that I would feel comfortable? He went to the mosque. In those days, people in the mosque could sleep overnight. They were not sent away. So he got comfortable. He used the satchel for a pillow. He covered himself in his cloak. He put his staff next to him. And he slept very well. Actually, he fell asleep so quickly. He was so tired and exhausted. In the middle of the night, there was a rumpus, a ruckus, noise, screaming, shouting. Apparently, there's a rich merchant who had a house very close to the mosque. And that night, a band of thieves came in, and they ransacked the place. They stole everything they could get their hands on, and found refuge in the mosque, thinking, well, nobody's going to find us here. This is a safe place, so they thought. But the family alerted the police, and in no time at all, the police rounded up everyone there, including our hero. He got arrested with the others. When they got to jail, everybody got a good beating, including him, and he was sure he wouldn't survive it. It hurt so much. And then they all spent 3 days in jail. On the fourth day, the chief of police had him brought in for questioning. He was giving him the third degree. So he said, "What brought you here?" He said, "Well, I'm not a thief. I was following my dream. I had a dream and I followed my dream." "Oh, you followed your dream, did you?" He said, "What kind of idiot, what kind of stupid person are you? Nobody follows their dream. You have to be realistic in life. For the last 3 days, I've had the same dream. In my dream, I see this house, it's falling apart, and I see the garden, it's all dry and brittle, and the plants are all yellow, and there's a fountain in the middle of the garden, it's not working." Well, of course, the man made the connection right away. And he said, "You know what? The owner is so ignorant, he doesn't realize there's a treasure right there underneath the fountain. If he digs it up, all he has to do is remove the treasure. It'll solve all of his problems." So the man said, "Well, may I go now?" Well, it said, "We can't charge you for anything. You haven't done anything wrong. Of course you can go. We're sorry for the misunderstanding. We're sorry for the beating as well. Here, there's a small bag of gold here. Take this with you. It'll speed you on your way." So when he got home, he used transportation. He got there very quickly. It only took him a day to get back there. Grabbed a shovel and started shoveling frantically, until he found the treasure. He opened it and he saw in it, there were pearls, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, topazes, gold, silver, all kinds of gorgeous things. Did I mention the pearls? I think I did. Okay. Well, he put it aside, and then he put the earth back in, tapped the whole thing so it didn't appear that anybody had dug anything out of it. He took the treasure chest, and he hugged it so tight because he was so happy. His heart was bursting. And when he did this, the fountain started to work again. The water not just flowed, it gushed, and it started scattering all over the garden. It started irrigating the garden, and slowly but surely the garden came back to life. Now he learned his lesson. He took the treasure. He spent it very carefully, and with the money he renovated the house. And he lived a wealthy life, a comfortable life, till the end of his days. Do you have a minute?
Yeah.
So I will not give you a moral. I'll give you 4 questions. Is there something in your life that's fallen apart? Something that needs fixing? Is there something that's clogged up, that's not moving, that should be flowing and isn't? Are you ready to come out of your comfort zone like he reluctantly did, our hero? Are you ready to go the extra mile or 2 or 3 like he did? Are you ready to suffer the pain that it might cause you? And best of all, do you have a treasure that's close to you that you're ignoring and that you haven't claimed yet? Well, you should claim that treasure. Make sure you claim that treasure, and maybe all of these other problems will just resolve themselves. Thank you. There's a story for today.
Thank you, Pierre.
You're welcome.
So today we're talking about profane. And is it also God? So what do you think? Somebody in the audience just said, I must be next to godliness then. So let's explore this. So first of all, where is God? Everywhere. A few people patted their hearts.
That's right.
So what does God do? God is good. Everything. Okay.
God
Where-
lives through us.
God lives through us. And where does God do it? Through us. Okay, so remember that as we talk about profanity today. So God expresses as everything, including the profane. So let's look at what does it mean to be profane, and then let's look at a holy experience, and let's color outside the lines. How many of you are going, no, I don't want to color outside the lines? So this is an invitation to explore our understanding of what profane really means and its relevance in your life. As I was thinking about this, I speak several languages, and so as a consequence, I've learned some of the profanity in other languages, and it's really quite fascinating. It's based on basically 2 things, religion and sex, body parts. You know, that kind of thing. And depending on the language, it might be one or the other or both. Like in Finnish, for instance, something like Satanan perkele means Satan's purgatory. Now, you know, if somebody said Satan's purgatory, would you think they were expressing profanity? No. And so that's the interesting thing, is that it really is our perspective as to what we have grown up believing profanity to be. So is it really real or not? And why do we use it? And why are we so upset when others use it, perhaps, if we are upset? And so just looking at all of that, because I mean, we're all about, I think anyways, we're all about living deliberately, living consciously. And so if things are pressing our buttons, why are they? And is it still relevant? Because where is God? So we are being asked to reframe our cultural perspectives of the idea of profanity and apply what we've learned within our own spiritual community. Now, I mean, wouldn't it be fun if we were asked to just come in here and swear as much as you can? And maybe the one who swears the most gets a prize or something. And they'd say, so what did you do at church on Sunday? Blah, 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 blah.
That's a good idea.
And I know you're laughing, and that's okay. So what does it mean to be profane? Let's look at that. So judge not means more than refraining from judging others. That comes from the commandments. And it also means keeping your consciousness open. And this is Pam Grout in a book called Thank and Grow Rich. And I don't know about you, but it's pretty hard not to judge, isn't it? I mean, judgment is usually the first place we go, just because we do. I don't know why. So this is a little place that I'd like to tell you about. It's called Centio la Parolaccia, and it's in Rome, and I've been there. And it's located in the Trastevere district of Rome. This restaurant is famous for its unique behavior. The waiters are known for their colorful language and sometimes verbally abuse diners, including tourists. Now, I was 16. I was learning to speak Italian, and we were in Rome, and one of our stops was at La Parolaccia, which is the swear word. That's what La Parolaccia means, or the bad word. And you were supposed to swear as much as you can to the waiters, and the more that you swore, the better your service would be. And you might even get free food if you really knew how to swear. So here we were, 16-year-olds, like you can imagine, 30 of us on a bus, practicing our Italian swear words so that when we went to this Italian restaurant, that we would get maybe a free meal. It was a blast. And when I think about it, I mean, how wonderful experience to have. And to think that I don't think there's a restaurant anywhere else in the world. There's probably several of this La Parolaccia in Italy. But can you imagine any other place? Like if there was a swear word restaurant here, would you go?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be interesting, right? So it's just a whole other perspective. So what does it mean to be profane? I mean, we're all laughing because it's true. In a way, it's really quite silly. So it's the use of curse words, of course, expressing raw sexuality or believing in unconventional ideas of God is generally what Wikipedia and Google say is profane. Actually, the real meaning is not bound by religious rules, monastic vows. It's something secular. The thing is that in a way, we're divided by this idea of secular and religious, and yet those of us here, I think, more are spiritual than either one of those two things, which says to me that we walk the world with our foot in both camps in a way. We pick and choose what it is that works for us, and that God is everywhere and in everything, and so nothing is bad or wrong, it just is, and we get a chance to decide whether we like it or don't and why, and all of that, right? So profane is associated with the secular, not religious. And it's considered an antonym to sacred. And again, this is just definitions from the internet, you know, believe it or not. And I thought about that idea of, is anything really the opposite of sacred? If everything is God, and God is sacred, then is anything really the opposite of sacred? And yet, in our society, we have said that profanity and everything that we call profanity is not sacred, and yet it is. I mean, some of the most beautiful things that we do in life are considered profane, like sex. I mean, we wouldn't be here if there hadn't been sex. And yet, why is it this kind of ooey, ouchy thing? I don't know. And I'm not saying that, you know, we should just all be really open about it. But I mean, I was thinking about profanity, and I have this really warped sense of humor. And I thought, you know, in Ontario, it is legal to go braless, topless. And I thought, like, would you think I was profane if I came one morning and I didn't have a top on? Yeah. And yet it's legal. So, so I mean, I know. Please don't conjure up the image. My younger breasts were much prettier than they are now. But, and, you know, I really want to, and I'm playing with this a little bit, because I really want you to think about the idea that we get to be like sticks in the mud sometimes when we're talking spirituality, and yet spirituality is all of life. And it can be fun. I mean, I swear when I want to emphasize, and I swear when I want to be enthusiastic, or when I'm angry. But where did I learn that? Like, what else could I do if I didn't swear? Any idea? I don't know. Because it's not something that I've done. Would you say that's the same for you? Yeah, it's just an interesting topic, I think. So as we expand our thinking, we understand that God is present in every experience, including the profane. So is God spirituality religious? Is God both those things? Just a question. So in unity, we say that all of life is God expressing. So who are we to judge the creative expression of spirit itself? And if you are the creative expression of spirit itself, no matter what's coming out of your mouth, you're God expressing. It's as simple as that. So maybe the next time that you are bothered by some profanity, you might just take a moment and say, you know, why is it that particular comedian uses the F-bomb every second word and we think it's hilarious? Why does he feel the need to use the F-bomb every second word? And why is it so popular? And why are others who are comedians, they don't need to swear at all and you think they're hilarious? And what's the difference? Just perspective. So the profane invites us to dive deeper into understanding the oneness of life. That's all. The concept of profanity changes from culture to culture. Like thumbs up in a positive sign in American culture, its equivalent is like giving the middle finger in Middle Eastern countries. So can you say to somebody, you know, and they think you just told them to F off. In Japan, tipping money for services is considered insulting. That's like swearing at them. Sexuality is taboo in some cultures and embraced in others. I mean, there are places in the world that you can go and there are people having sex on the side of the roads. And it's just normal. And then there are places here where we don't even talk about it. And yet it goes on, it's just we don't. So think about this, the Sexual Offences Act in 1967, so that's when we've all been around, legalized homosexual acts in England and Wales on the condition that they were consensual in private and between two men who had attained the age of 21. Now that's in our lifetime, and that we thought at one time, and there are still people who do in the world, think that that is profane and that is profanity, and yet that is two people expressing love for each other. And the law was extended in Scotland by Criminal Justice Scotland Act 1980, which is like, wow, and to North Ireland by the Homosexual Offences in 1982. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted at the idea that we have limited people's expression of being who they are, especially loving how they choose to love, and making it illegal, making it profane. So, you know, it's just something to think about. Is there anything else we're doing that in 10 years we'll look back and say, like, how come we didn't do anything about that before? How come we didn't love everybody like oneness? How come? So this week, let's explore our understanding of what it means to be profane. This is an opportunity to look at the sacred nature of culturally defined experiences as profane. Humans have been designed for physical connection, yet this natural design of how we interact with our bodies is often classified as profane. And yet why? It's just another thing we do. And yet we don't talk about it. We don't sit around the table and talk about, you know, what we did in our sexual exploits last night, or with ourselves or whoever. And yet, because it's considered profane, and you know, you're laughing because it's uncomfortable. But how did we get here? I mean, there were times when families all lived in one room, And all of that just kind of happened, and everybody was witness to it. So I don't have any answers. I want you to think about it. So certain words are considered profane. I put them really small in the upper corner, regardless of the intent behind their use. And so if you can't see them, good. I picked ones that weren't quite so bad, like arse, bitchy, dyke, god damn it, and shitty. And maybe pissed even might be another one of them. And you know, why is it that we consider those words to be profane? It's a choice. You're being invited to see the entire experience of life as sacred, including the mundane and the profane. So we're not profane beings. We're all divine expressions of Source. So let's express ourselves authentically without shame, living our lives out loud, whatever that means. And I'm not suggesting at all that you show up with topless. You know, and I know the guys will say, well, it's okay, I've been doing that for a long time. I'm just talking about all of us, you know. It's a matter of, you're not used to?
The word profane in my language doesn't really mean the same.
Okay, what is the word in French?
Vulgar,
Vulgar?
obscene,
Obscene?
and gross.
Gross? Okay, yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah, interesting as we translate into different languages. Yes, Russ?
I like the verb of profane, and to profane something is to desanctify it.
To desanctify it.
To walk into the cathedral and there's all these beautiful symbols and routines that you know are correct, and you
Yes.
violate them all, you're profaning the place.
You're profaning the place if you desanctify. Okay. Yes?
In the French that I know, profane only means secular. Sacred or secular, le sacré profane.
Okay, so in French,
In written text,
in written text, it's either secular
yeah, or sacred.
or sacred.
Le sacré with profane.
Interesting. So again, it's a matter of our definitions, isn't it? Yes?
Well, when you think about it, it depends on the connotation behind the profanity.
The connotation behind the profanity is what it depends on.
Something to somebody. You know,
Yes.
If you are
Yes.
that's offensive.
Yes.
Or you could say, this is a shitty day. You know, no,
Yes.
there's a big difference in that.
So it's more the intent than it is the words, isn't it?
Right. With the word.
So fascinating, isn't it?
What about taking the Lord's name in vain? That is,
Taking the Lord's name in vain.
to me, I just, you know, I swear like a trooper on other words.
Yes.
To me, I don't think that's,
So she's saying she swears like a trooper with other words, but not with the word God. Okay. And again, it's interesting to explore why that would be. And so if we know, and we do know, that God is within us, if we are swearing about God, we're actually beating ourselves up, aren't we? And that's as disrespectful as you can get. So just really interesting. Thank you for exploring this with me. Yes, Russ?
Now, the word tabernacle
Yes,
French.
tabernacle.
is to profane something.
The church.
And you're saying
Well,
a holy word, a sanctifying word, instead of, and you know it's replacing the opposite.
Yes, so tabernacle in French is tabernacle, and that you're profaning the idea of a
Because
tabernacle.
it's illegal to actually do the opposite and say what you mean.
Yes.
In the laws of Quebec at one time.
So, Jackie?
I think we have to remember that some people grow up around people who swear all the time.
Some
So
people
for them,
grow
that's
up
a
around
normal-
people who
It's
swear,
a normal part of language.
and it's normal for them.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so we all have different experiences. Wendy, last one, and then we'll move on.
I just think a lot of it is cultural too, because as you said before, in one culture, to say tabernacle is not a big deal, but in another it is. So somehow, the group of people that you're part of that culture has told you this is not okay.
Yes, yes. So it's just cultural. And isn't that true? The more we think about it today, the more it really is true. What you experienced, what you were taught, your culture, other cultures. And boy, can we ever be confused when we're with someone else from another culture because of some of the different beliefs that they have. So it's fascinating. So let's look at a holy experience. So meditate or contemplate on your relationship to the profane. And I'd invite you to do that this week, to just think about what you consider profanity to be and what makes you uncomfortable and why, and is it still relevant for you? And how can you identify and release judgment as it arises? And so again, I'm just encouraging you to be more aware. So as you judge based on profanity, for instance, ask yourself why. You know, like there's no way I'd be here topless, because I couldn't stand myself, let alone what you might be thinking if I was. So it's a personal thing, really. And I know I'm using that as an example because it sounds so ridiculous, but I remember when we went to Australia and we were in Uluru, which is in the center part of the continent, and we were listening to a presentation by the Aboriginal people, and they put a video on for us to watch, and it was Aboriginal women who were built like me, but with skinnier legs and feet, and they were only wearing skirts, and their big breasts were hanging over top of their skirts, and they were flat and brown, like you can imagine they would be. And I looked and I went, they're my brown sisters. And I mean, they were so happy to be telling their story and the history, and after a while you didn't even notice that they were topless. And I thought, boy, I really come from a different culture. I was able to make a joke about it, but you'll never see me on a video looking like that. Just saying. next Sunday. I don't even have to think about that one. So, okay, so here's your question. What steps can you take to be more inclusive towards me if I were to do that? Could you help me be less uncomfortable? You bring a blanket? Okay, so if you're comfortable with profane, take some time to consider how comfortable you are with expressing yourself authentically, because it really is kind of in alignment. And does your self-expression rub other people the wrong way? And it's not just profanity, but you know how there are just some people that you just aren't as comfortable being around because of their behavior. And the truth is that it's nothing to do with them, it's something in you that's being pushed, that's being rubbed. And to be able to say, oh, okay, so what is it in me that's rubbing me the wrong way because of this person's behavior? And then how can I heal that? And as I heal that, then it no longer affects me. And they can still keep doing it, but it's just going to fall off me like water off a duck's back. So are you able to stand in your truth, whatever that is? And, or do other people's opinions affect you? Yeah, there are some things where other people's opinions do affect me. I bet they do, you too. Maybe not as much today as they did at one time. So regardless of your relationship to profane, you're invited to share this journey out loud, whatever that looks like. Include others in your discussion and trust Spirit to guide you. And so whenever something gets uncomfortable, Spirit is right where you are. And to say, guide me, help me. I'm open. And coloring outside the lines. So yeah, we've kind of talked a little bit about coloring outside the lines already. And so which one are you? Within the lines or outside the lines? Because this image that I'm showing you there is equally as beautiful both ways, I think. So let's color outside the lines of what's considered to be spiritual. Would it be appropriate to use a DJ to spin records on a Sunday morning, for instance? In some religious places, it would be, oh my God, no way. And yet we're pretty open, aren't we, as to how we would express our spirituality? How about a burlesque show, fundraiser? And again, you know, am I pressing your buttons? And if I am? And if not, when? And when we shake off the old ideas of what constitutes spirituality, we can make room for the profane to enter into our idea of sacred. So expanding our own understanding invites subcultures, often excluded from spiritual communities, to participate. And so if we really truly mean that we want to invite other people into our community, how can we be as open as possible and not be, what were some of the words you used? Disgusted, grossed out, vulgar. How can we be more open to what we consider those things? So to truly create a world that works for everyone, our spiritual centers need to host events and activities that appeal to people of all walks of life. And how might we step out of our comfort zone and invite people in to have different ways of thinking? Because it's something to think about. You know, we say we're open, but let's say a group of people that were different, that maybe you find a little bit whatever, walked in here and just kind of filled all the seats. Would you be open, comfortable, welcoming? So again, it's just something to think about. You know, where are we on that journey of accepting everyone? And the discussions we have on this topic in our spiritual centers allows for us to expand. And so if we're wanting to expand, is it because we want everyone to look like us, to agree with us? You know, I had a discussion with someone talking about being in an organization where decisions were having to be made. And I said, it's so important to have differing opinions and to have discussions about different ways of looking at things, because that makes everyone think outside the box, color outside of the lines. And so encourage not disagreement, but different ways of looking at things. So if you're in a situation with someone in your life right now where you just do not connect in the way that they think, and there is a conflict there, how might you be more open? So there is no sacred or profane, in fact. This is from Raymond Penikar. In fact, there is nothing that is not sacred, since all of reality is interrelated. So I think, for most, the lines are the set boundaries. They feel safe. Going outside of them feels unknown. And that's okay. It's just to recognize that. So how have you been coloring outside the lines? Have you? Challenging yourself to cross the boundaries of what's familiar? I encourage you to do it more. Creatively going into the unfamiliar is exciting, but it's also pretty scary. So we use lines as a sort of safety net. Take time to catch yourself when you hesitate. The real test when you're coloring outside the lines is whether tension exists. No tension, no lines. So yet coloring within the lines can also inspire creativity. So I want you to remember that that's good too. Because if someone says, okay, well, this is the box that you get to play in, then you're going to figure out the most and best that you can do within that box that you can, right? So both are good. So this is from Jen Sincero, a book called You Are a Badass. Most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs. So we looked at God expresses as everything. What is it to be profane? Can it be a holy experience? And are you ready to color outside the lines? And if you're not, are you doing the most with being within the lines? And then there's this beautiful song called Amazing Grace, which talks about, and John Newton wrote this, come on up, about his sudden awareness that he had no idea of how restrictive the laws were having to do with slavery. And how he felt so terrible when he found out that he was a captain of a ship bringing slaves from Africa. So let's hear this song from that viewpoint.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved and strengthened me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that brought my heart to sing, and grace by fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already passed. This grace that brought me safe thus far to freedom that will last. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining, shining as the sun, we've known less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. This grace will lead us home. This grace will lead me home.
Lordy, lordy, lordy. I've been doing this for at least a year, and I've never been speechless like I am today. What was your takeaway? There was a lot of discussion, yes, and I'm taking this in, but I took it in through my eyes, through my life experience, what I grew up experiencing, and I speak exclusively for my household. There was no profanity in my household when I was growing up. And so as I started moving out into the wider world and coming here to live in Canada, there were shock waves created along the way. Have I mellowed? Yes, I had to. I could not go around rearranging the world. Have I been tabernacle? Absolutely. a few times. At first, I had to go ask. I had a feeling, the feeling that came to me through the phone was that was not good. Whatever that was, it wasn't good. And I asked someone next to me, like, but yeah, so I have mellowed considerably. But what you have put forward is food for thought, because I would never have put the concept of profanity anywhere close to even the word sacred. But it's worth thinking about to, I don't know for you, but to help me to enlarge my territorial acceptance of all things cultural. So there. Oh, I remember once when you talk about coloring outside the lines and how would you show up, I would rather show up topless than being part of a swearing competition. Because I know which one I'll win. But I remember when I used to be at Unity of Mississauga, I don't remember the context of the conversation, but I remember saying to a friend of mine who was a staunch Pentecostalist, you know, we sang Zippity Doo-Dah. Occasionally we would sing Zippity Doo-Dah in church, and I never saw anything wrong with it. And she was like, send me my vapors, because she was so horrified that we were singing a secular song in church. So, yeah, I like the way this went. But for me, I have to get accustomed to a little more. So there, it's really been an interesting morning. Thank you for supporting our community, as you always have. And we accept e-transfers to our email unityspiritualcenter.com and checks made out to Unity Spiritual Center. And as always, for everything we receive, we acknowledge by way of our acceptance of it all by saying the affirmation together. Divine love that I am blesses all I give and all I receive.
Hey, this is a new song, so you can sing the chorus with me. If God had a name, what would it be, and would you call it to his face? If you were faced with him in all his glory, what would you ask if you had just one question? And yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. If God had a face, what would it look like, and would you want to see? If seeing meant that you would have to believe in things like heaven and in Jesus and the saints and all the prophets, and yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. And yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. Just trying to make his way home. Back up to heaven all alone. Nobody calling on the phone, except for the Pope maybe in Rome. And yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. What if God was one of us? Just as love like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. Just trying to make his way home. Like a holy rolling stone, back up to heaven all alone, just trying to make his way home. Nobody calling on the phone, except maybe for the Pope in Rome. What if God was one of us?
That was great, great, great. And know that we're here to pray with you. So if you do have something on your mind, fill out a prayer request if you're here and put it in the prayer box, or send us a prayer request to prayer@unityspiritualcenter.com. And know that you are held in prayer, and then they are also sent to Silent Unity. So let's say the prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. We're still looking for volunteers. If any of you at home would like to volunteer, the free photo with Santa Day and raffle is on December the 2nd. It's a Saturday, and it's from 10 till 3. We have different times that you can come, or you can come for the whole day. And there's just a number of different things to do. We're hoping to have a lot of people here, so it's basically to just help in whatever way that you can. So you can send Brenda an email or sign up out in the other room. And if you can and are able and would like to, bring us some unwrapped gifts, because we'll have many raffles for kids to be able to put their little tickies in and be able to win something. And then on Sunday, December the 3rd at 11:45 is an appreciation lunch, and it'll be catered. So please either RSVP or sign up in the other room, in our lunchroom. And for those of you at home, please come out if you can. It's just a chance for us to get together and celebrate the fact that life is good. God is great. And today is Potluck Sunday, always the third Sunday of the month, and it looks like we have all kinds of wonderful things today to eat. I wish that those of you at home have a wonderful lunch. If not, next time we have a potluck lunch, come, okay? So let's sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
So thank you, everyone. Remember, I love you. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.